Wendy here. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. That's probably because I don't look at myself as being anybody important. So, my name's Wendy. I used to be a journalist many years ago. I gave that up as I didn't like the ethics that went along with it. But I've always had an inquisitive mind, and I've always asked a lot of questions of everything. Didn't matter what it was, if I needed to know the ins and outs of everything that I came across. I studied psychology for many, many years, 20 years, and became a psychologist and helped people with anxiety and depression with MBC and CBT, saw cases where people did get better, saw other cases where they didn't. This was because spirituality is not really allowed into that atmosphere of psychology. It's too hooky and too spooky for psychology. Psychologists now like to look at psychology as a science of the mind. That's up to them now. I never will look at it as a science. I also don't look at people as a cluster. We don't, won't and can't react to the same thing in the same way. Whereas CBT is made so that we do. They have little lists that you fill in. They have little ways of getting you to do things. But these lists don't change from patient to patient. They're the same. So one patient may react positively, the other patient may react negatively. So how do you deal with that? There's talk and therapy, which is very good for some and not for others. So psychology is a bit of a minefield, really. That's why I decided to also look at spirituality. And spirituality for me is definitely a better prescription for good mental health and well-being. It teaches you to look at yourself for who you are and what you are and what you actually believe in, and to let go of your ego, let go of all materialistic value. See, the mind is a very strange thing when you look at it. I realized many years ago that, advances in technology is brilliant. A lot of things that have happened are really great, but you will never get a better computer or a better anything than the human mind, simply because it's humans that make computers, make gadgets, make new medicines, find new ways to treat people. It's the human mind that does it. We are the ones that get the gadgets, make the gadgets. So to me, there is nothing at all that can compare to the force of the human nature at all. Apart from that, I'm widowed. I've got 4 children, all grown up and left home, I'm happy to say. My life now is based on spirituality and kindness and gratitude and happiness. I don't suffer fools, which is maybe a little problem of my own, but I don't like to be around people who find everything funny for no reason. I am a patient person and would rather help somebody than cause harm to anybody. Even animals, I couldn't harm an animal. I could never harm a human being. I'm just an ordinary person with a lot to give, a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and I hope I can help you. Now, with the coming of the internet, this has been possible because there's a lot of people who I speak to and are members of this group who we would never have spoken to each other or been able to converse at all if it wasn't for the age of technology that we're in. But as I stated earlier, remember, no matter how strong technology gets, it takes a human mind, a human soul, and a human heart to run that technology. It does, on its own, it just sits there and does absolutely nothing. It might remember the day, it might remember the time, but without our input, without us using it, it's nothing. So, to me, spirituality, Buddhism, and a lot more is what's important. The soul is important, kindness is important, gratitude is important, and knowing yourself for who you truly are is important. Not for who you think and you've been told you should be, but for who you want to be. Let go of all those patterns that you've got in your mind. Just let them go. They're not important anymore. Start with a blank canvas and become who you want to be. And to do this, I've decided to start with the core values, core issues, core patterns of life, because they begin from the moment you're born. So, I hope I've introduced myself a little bit and told you a bit about myself. Difficult task, because I find myself pretty boring, but it has to be done. So, I'll see you in the next MP3 about core issues. Okay, bye-bye.